Hello YouTube, this is Ken Apocalypse, and this is going to be my review of the Sony X900F. But I want you to stick around after the video, towards the end of the video, I'm sorry, and I'm going to announce the winner of the $100 giveaway, the $100 gift card giveaway. So please stick around for that, and we'll talk more about that here shortly. But, you know, I wanted to make a comment on this TV. I picked it up very, very cheap. If you watch my last video, you know I got it for like or tax and all was $8.91, tax and all, and it was an open box, but it was an open box new. Everything was still wrapped in the plastic, still had the sheath on the front of the on front of the screen and everything. I mean, this was I guess you would call it, this was the golden egg that I could find. Because I mean, there's not many Best Buys that you go to, and that's where I got this, that when you get an open box, that it is in that good of shape. Usually it's missing something, but this one was like brand new. I mean, the legs and everything was still sealed in the plastic and everything. So I'm very happy with it. I've been playing with it for the past week. A lot of people's going to be like, well, what do you think about it compared to the Vizio? I believe that they both have the same like nits brightness level. From switching back and forth between both TVs, the brightness is about the same. Now, for some reason, the highlights, like bright highlights, like sunshine, stuff like that, is more vibrant and more natural looking on the Sony, and I think it's because of the processing. It's got the X1 Extreme chip, and you know, that's good for processing, and it does good for Sony. The color reproduction, everything. I can make these colors as vibrant as I want, or I can make them look as natural as I want, and that's something you don't have in the Vizio. Now the Vizio, the color gamut in the Vizio is very wide, and you can get some saturated colors, and I don't want to say oversaturated, because to me oversaturation is Samsung. Samsung puts so much color into and brightness into their palette that it's oversaturated, which means the colors, like the reds, look, I mean, too red. The greens look too green. But you can see on here, I don't know if you can see, I'm looking through my camera, and I'm looking at the TV, and I'm seeing the TV, it says TV, and it's in red, and on my camera it looks saturated. But you know what? I'm using a Samsung Galaxy S9, so that might be the reason that the videos look saturated. But the TV itself, the red looks red, plain red. You can tell that there's, you know, there's a difference in the casting symbol in the middle of the TV symbol. That's like a lighter red, and then there's a darker red. It's not oversaturated at all. And you go over to Sony Select, and it looks really saturated green. But in all actuality, what I'm looking at is, I mean, it's just it's a plain green. It's not like a neon looking green, a lime green. As for like the whites, like Netflix, YouTube, the blues and everything, they're pretty close to standard. I noticed that in my camera that the Netflix underneath the TV, well, I'm sorry, I have not got a tripod yet, people. I noticed that the Netflix on my camera looks kind of like got a yellowish tint to it, but on the TV itself, I mean, it's bright, vibrant white, just pure white with red Netflix in it, and there's no bleeding over from the white into the red on the Netflix. It's not that bright. Looks like on the camera that it is, and I'm not sure why Samsung, I mean, wants to oversaturate their colors like that. But this TV is probably the most natural looking TV that I've ever owned. And I've owned Q7s, I've owned Q6s. I owned a Q7FN for a short time, and the pixels went bad. I owned OLEDs. I owned a B8, a B6, a B7. I've had Vizio P series, Vizio M series, and of all, this TV is just. I'm not going to say I like it better than the Vizio, because the Vizio is, I mean, almost on the same level. I mean, besides the motion. Now this, when you're watching sports and, you know, the NBA finals just ended, there is no motion blur. I'm talking about absolutely none. Like, they're running up and down the court and you can't see a blur. And I looked, because I'm picky about my TVs. I sit there and looked very, very hard. But other than that, on the Vizio, I mean, they're about on the same par. It's hard for me to explain I guess the naturalism of this TV compared to the Vizio. Now, the upside of having the Vizio is cheaper. Not for me, because I got this one actually pretty darn cheap. But if I would go for a 55-inch Vizio, then, you know, I think they're $6.99, $7.99. 65 inches, $6.99. This thing brand new is $11.99. But like I said, I mean, I got it open box, so I got it at a really, really good deal. So I'm not complaining at all. But price wise, if you're comparing tit for tat, the Vizio would be a good TV if you want to sacrifice the motion. But if you want like more of a natural kind of look, and I use natural because none of the colors are oversaturated. When you're watching a movie, they're not oversaturated at all. I mean, the faces aren't red. Sometimes you get a red tint because of too much color, but there's no red in their faces. They look, I mean, I don't want to say perfect, because there's not going to be a perfect picture on a TV. Not perfect. There's never going to be a perfect picture. But I will say that this comes pretty close. And another thing, from what I'm looking at right here, you see the black is the background, and then you have the whites and the blues and the greens and everything as the excuse me, as the little tiles. Well, there's no bleed through at all. I know it looks above and below the Netflix. Excuse me. I know above and below the Netflix, it looks like there's a little bit of bleed on my camera, but there's absolutely no bleed on the TV. And again, I think that's because I'm using a Samsung camera. And it's doing that. Maybe just like a reflection off the camera or something. But there's no bleed through at all. I mean, everything is all natural colors. It's perfect looking. I mean, to me, this is a great picture. It is. Now, getting off the picture quality and everything, but I mean, if you're looking to get a Sony 900F, which, by the way, I will mention this, Sony didn't bring out another 900G this year. They brought out a 950G, which it's a lot brighter nits, but it's more for, I guess, if you're going to put it in a bright room with a lot of windows and stuff. The color palette is the same, but the nits are jacked up like a lot. I think it's like 20. Well, the real scene brightness on this TV is 898. The real scene brightness on a 950G, I think, is around 1200 nits. So if that gives you any kind of indication. But this TV is plenty bright. When I say plenty bright, I'm talking about it's not dull at all. The When you see sunshine, it looks like sunshine. When you see a flashlight in the dark, it looks like a bright flashlight in the dark. It is a very bright TV, and I'm very, very happy with it. Um, let's like I said, I got off track is what I did. The 950G is the one up from this, but Sony decided not to bring out a 900G. They left out the 900F. This is actually the 2018 model that they're carrying over into 2019. And they're going to be their, I guess, mid-range model all year. So you're not going to see like a 900G. You're going to see the 950G, which is supposed to be one tier up from this. But this TV is, I mean, it's spectacular. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm a Vizio fan. I'm not a fanboy. Don't get me wrong. I'm not one of those. I'm not diehard Vizio. I like Vizio. I am a fan of Vizio, but I'm not like diehard. And you know what I'm talking about. I like any TV and every TV, and I'm going to treat them all equally. And when I see an orange, I'm going to call it orange. You know what I mean? That was a bad analogy, but still, you get my point. Anyway, let's go on the operating system here. It's very, very smooth. A lot of people was complaining that the Android operating system is slow. It's not. I love this part about it. You got your apps, and then this is actually my Voodoo, and it tells you what you got, what you want to play. I mean, it is not sluggish at all. Aquaman, that's a great movie, by the way. This is the featured tab. It tells you what's on certain channels. It tells you what's on Hulu, what's on Netflix, what's on PlayStation View. It does, of course, it's Sony. It has the PlayStation View app, but I got a PS4 Pro, so I don't really need that. It's got Sling, Fubo, all the cord-cutting channels. I will show you this. This is not on Samsung. It is not on Vizio, and you can't even cast it. It's Philo. People don't know Philo is, it don't have as many channels as Sling, but it's not as expensive as Sling. It's $20 and you get like 58 channels, and the majority of them on Sling I didn't watch anyway. But this has got all the channels like Hallmark, Movies and Mystery. And no, that's not for me. That's for my wife. But, I mean, it's got AMC for The Walking Dead. It's got A&E for Live PD. All these other channels. I mean, it's a great app. I'm just throwing it out there because a lot of people's like, all you got is Sling. And some people's got YouTube TV and stuff like that. It's not the case. This app Philo is a really good app, and we enjoy it. So anyway, back to everything else. This is that's Philo. This is showing my top channels, what you can watch and everything. And that's Nosferatu. That's actually a good show if you get into it. Then you got your Netflix. It shows you everything that you want to watch on my Netflix. Here's my YouTube. It shows everything that it's recommending. It's recommending everything. Of course, I'm signed into Google, so it's got my Google movies and stuff. Voodoo. Of course, who don't have Voodoo, right? And then it's got Bravia tutorials, which just goes through and tells you what you can do, how you can use the voice assistant and everything. And there's regular TV. And what's cool about this is this isn't an antenna because I'm a cord cutter. I don't have cable. I have internet, don't have cable. For my local channels, I use an antenna, and for everything else, I use Philo. But like, say I'd go to this, and what it'll do, it'll sit there and actually load the channel, so you don't have to sit there and go through and flip through the channels. You can actually go from one to the other, and it'll sit there and it'll pop up. And these are my favorite channels. This is the ones I always go to, so that's why. And here, if you want to do this, you can always you use this, and you can move it up or down or whatever, like this. Which I'm actually going to put that right there. I like that. Okay. Anyway, this is not a bad TV at all. The operating system is not bad at all. Everybody was killing it. They was like, well, you know, this the TV operating system's horrible and stuff like that. It is not. It's actually really, really smooth. I mean, there's a couple quirks here and there. I'm going to show you my inputs. When you do inputs, it automatically shows you, hey, on my HDMI 2, I got my PlayStation 4 hooked up. By the way, HDMI 2 and 3 is the only two ports on here that support I was talking and moving my phone away from the TV. It's the only two ports that support 4K full HDR 4.4.4 chroma, and so I mean you're a little limited, but I mean all the ports support 4K, but those are the only two that, you know, if you want to get the most out of your TV, that's what you put. Now we'll back out of this right here, and I want to go over to the settings. Now the settings, you can have your channels, external inputs. This is very, very important. HDMI signal format. When you go to hook up a 4K device, be sure to select enhanced format, because if you don't, it won't show up in 4K HDR. It'll just play, and you don't want that. Picture and display, you got picture adjustments, and you got a crap load of picture adjustments. I mean, you got your standard picture mode, and between that you got vivid and custom and cinema pro, sports, animation, photos, everything. I mean, you got a slew of options, and I mean it's just crazy. Light sensor, always turn the ambient light sensor off because it'll dim the TV. But you got your brightness, your contrast, your gamma, everything on, like on a normal, I say normal TV, this is a normal TV. Everything, but here you got extended dynamic range, which is awesome. Because it actually extends your color palette, and it also makes your TV brighter. And you can see that it dimmed down, and then it dims up. Is that coming through on the camera? I don't know if that's coming through on the camera. Your color, you got your color, your hue, your color temperature, your advanced color, your live color. Okay, you go down here to live color, and what it is, improve the vividness of your colors. I mean, it's on high, and the colors are great. I mean, it's very vivid, and I mean the color up there is only on 60. I mean, you can imagine. I mean, you can oversaturate them if you want to, a la, you know, Samsung, but you don't want oversaturated colors because it kills things. It kills it. Once you oversaturate colors, you can have too white or bright of a background, and then in the front it will be I have my fingers in the way, good lord. And in the front the people will look dim, and this TV does not do that. I mean, it's great. Clarity, sharpness, mastered in 4K. Haven't quite figured that one out, but I will. Motion. This right here is important, the motion flow. You could put it as a standard, clear, true cinema. A lot of people saying put it as true cinema, but I haven't. I've left it on standard, and motion blur on this thing is like non-existent. Video options, of course, you have your HDMI video range, which is, I mean, you got auto, full, limited, which I'm not really sure what that means at the moment. And this one, you got HDR mode, you got HDR10, HLG, and you got off. Now, what I want to do, if I may, is I want to go into, let's hope I don't get a copyright strike. Let's go into Voodoo. Now look, do you see how quick that is? Look at this. Okay, I'm out. Boom, I'm in. Okay. Say I want to go to who doesn't like Transformers, right? Okay, I want you to look up in the right hand, Dolby Vision. Do you see it up there? Oh my God. Anyway, I better pause it. But you can see how bright the sun looks in the background. I mean, oh my gosh, this picture is just phenomenal. Dolby Vision, Dolby Atmos, of course. See if I can do this one more time. Actually, I'll tell you what, I'm going to back out of, and we'll go ahead and go out of Voodoo. Okay, and I'm going to scroll over to Netflix. And of course, Netflix is Netflix. It takes a minute. Now see, on the TV, you see how fast this is loading up. Now you can see that N on the screen looks super bright, but it's not. I mean, it's a beautiful red. Okay, let's find a, how about Ridiculous 6? If you haven't watched Ridiculous 6, then, okay, you can see it's in Dolby Vision. And up in the corner here, see it says Dolby Vision. And that picture is outstanding. Good. Mesmerized. Okay, I got to get it on with the video. Let's go ahead and exit this. Like I said, I apologize for, you know, all the jumping around and the turning the camera and everything. Like I said, I'm having to hold the camera because my tripod bit the dust. Now I'll show you Philo. See, this is Philo. It loaded up pretty quick. You can go to a guide. Say airplane. And it loads up, and you can tell. I mean, it's a great picture all the way around. The upscaling on this thing, I want to tell you, the upscaling is crazy on this thing. Let's see if I can go down here to this. Now this is broadcast. I want you to see this. This is tuning to broadcast. And this picture is, I mean, if you see what I see and not through the camera, you would be impressed. I'm very impressed. The upscaling on this TV is phenomenal. And this is broadcast. Okay? This is broadcast through an antenna. So, I mean, let's see here. So, I mean, there's nothing bad I can say about this TV right now. And I say right now is because, you know, I'm in my honeymoon stage of it. I got it. I love it right now. It hasn't done anything to disappoint me. Excuse me. Hasn't done anything to disappoint me yet. So I have nothing bad to say about it. I really don't. It does have Google Assistant. I will say that. I think it's a little sluggish on the Google Assistant. Let's see. What's the weather today? Oh.
Currently in Spring Lake, it's 76 and sunny. Today, it'll be mostly sunny with a forecasted high of 90 and a low of 71.
Yeah. It's not too bad. It's not too sluggish at all. I mean, of course, it's Google Assistant, so it's got a little button. Let me see if I got. It's got a little button right here for Google Assistant. It's also got a Netflix, Google Play button. Can you see it a little better there? It's got action menus. I mean, this is like a good old-fashioned remote. If you get a 4K Blu-ray player or a Sony player, I don't think it's going to adjust. I'm sorry. It's got the buttons at the very bottom for like play and pause and everything like that. What is today?
It is Sunday, the 16th of June, 2019.
You know, simple little things like that. I mean, I'm sure you can ask a bunch of complicated questions. Why is the sky blue? Oh, don't want to explain that. It just wants to bring out the YouTube videos, which is really cool, I think. But anyway, we're coming to the end of our video. So like I said, I'm going to go ahead and announce our winner. And so I'm going to go ahead and put it up on the screen here. And the winner is Jimmy Drammer. Congratulations. I'll be contacting you through probably one of your messages, so keep a lookout. But Jimmy Drammer, congratulations. I used commentpicker.com. As you can see, I wanted to do this because it seemed like the only fair way. I didn't want to throw darts at a board or cover my eyes and pick a name, you know what I mean? I didn't think that was quite fair, so I let the computer do it for me. It seemed the most fair possible. And it takes out any doubts of anybody saying, well, you picked them on purpose, stuff like that. No, I didn't. The computer did it. So thank God for commentpicker.com. But anyway, congratulations. You know, Jimmy, you're the winner of a $100 Best Buy gift card or a $100 GameStop gift card. It's your choice. And I want to thank everybody for supporting me through 1,000 subscribers. Hopefully we get 1,000 more. That way, you know, 1,000 subscribers is the magic number. So I want to be able to get more products in here to review for you, because you know there's not a lot of people out there that actually I want to say buy their own stuff, but actually get their stuff inside and review it like I do, because I'm an average guy. I pay for all my stuff. I can't afford to go out and buy $3,000 TVs like in the video I said before, but what I do get, I want to review for you, because I review TVs for the average person. That's why I got this one at such a good deal, because if it would have been full price, I wouldn't have got it. Just for the simple fact of, I'm not rich by any means, so I hope you enjoy my videos. Congratulations, Jimmy. Like I said, I'll be getting in contact with you. Anyway, that's my video. Thanks for supporting me through 1,000 subscribers, and I hope you enjoy the TV. I will be doing more with this TV, video gaming, and I'm planning on picking up a Sony. It's the X900M2 4K Blu-ray player that actually does Dolby Vision. So I'm going to do that here in the next couple weeks, and we'll do some games on the PlayStation and see how game latency. By the way, I got to mention that when you hook up a PlayStation, it automatically switches over to game mode. I'm not sure if it does that with an Xbox or not, but I know on the PlayStation, when you turn it on, it automatically switches to game mode, and you have like zero latency. I mean, it's great. Anyway, I'm rambling on again. So anyway, Ken Apocalypse, like my channel, subscribe, and I'll have more for you later.